Hello folks, a little while ago I did a video on what you would do to save Warhammer 40,000 as a whole. What you would do carte blanche if I gave you control of the hobby to change things for the better. But in the new year, I thought, you know what, we're heading towards 11th edition, it is on the horizon now, so maybe we narrow down that brief and we see, okay, rather than the whole hobby, what would you do with 11th edition? I've given all of you ultimate responsibility on creating Warhammer 40,000 11th edition. It is up to you. You decide where we're going. I've given you a couple of days to get your opinions into me, and I'm going to read them all out, well, for the most part, as we go. These will not be my opinions, just so you all know. These are your opinions that I will be reacting to, and in a week or so, I will do another video where I will share with you my thoughts on what I would do with 11th edition. But bear in mind, this is carte blanche. You can do whatever you want. So let's jump in with the email submissions first. And these people have been waiting patiently since like early November because they sent me emails a little while ago. So we have Gorilla here. And he says, Hi Northern, I hope you are well. I have a million ideas on how Games Workshop can improve the game, but I'll try to keep this concise. Yes, the brief was... Let me just reread the brief, or I can show you the brief, actually. I can show you the brief. Here we are. Here is the brief. So, how would you write 11th edition Warhammer 40,000? Answer the question in the comments, and your response could be in a video next week, which is the one you're watching now. Now is your time to have your say. Have your answer be as long or as short as you like. That was the brief, and we'll be reading from there in a moment or two. But back to the email submissions. I have a million ideas on how Games Workshop can improve the game, but I'll try to keep this concise. First, roll back the list building changes. No more free war gear, no more set squad sizes, bring back force organisation charts, and let things have points costs not divisible by 5. As is, the list building experience in 10th isn't engaging as there is little to no choice to even make. I kind of agree with that, but I will also say one of the big draws of games these days, like OPR, is that you can get a really good list on the go in like 20 minutes. You can sit down, get your list on the go, and it's all fine. What OPR does that 40k doesn't is it maintains that depth of options. You have a lot of rules that you can take for certain units. You can really build your list in certain different ways for certain different things. So, whilst 40k has a lot of templates, and I do agree, you sit down and generally it's very bespoke. Like you're taking one of two armies, like the Gladius detachment for the Space Marines, right? You're always taking that. So, which is a shame, right? It's a bit of a shame, and it turned out to be a weird tactic to bring back formations, which wasn't very good. But there we go. But I agree with you to a certain extent. I think you're going a bit too far in the other direction, to be honest with you. And I do think the time of having different numbers in Space Marine units was a bit annoying. People are like, oh no, there's 7 in this unit. Why? You know, I don't know, dude. Like, I just... I'm all for streamlining the game. No, I really am. Streamlining the game. I'm all for that. But you need to preserve your depth of options, right? But yeah, cut out the fat. I think you're arguing to keep some of the fat here, which is not what I would do. But anyway, moving on. For second, presentation. Some factions just didn't get a new artwork with their 10th edition Codex and were left with the old Codex Art. That's a big loss in my eyes. That is true. That is a really good point. That's a phenomenal point. There is nothing worse to me than paying £35 for a book and seeing the same artwork you got on your last book. That's inexcusable. That's utterly inexcusable. If you're going to bring out a new codex and charge that much money for it, you need to be paying and crediting artists to do new art for your codex. It's lazy. It's sheer laziness. When it comes to models, they should diverge their attention to multiple factions, instead of just making dozens of Primaris Marines and then maybe a couple of things for other factions. Though, as a lore nerd, this last part is more important to me. For one, drop the Femstodes nonsense, and for two, make the narrative less formulaic. Currently, I feel like Games Workshop is banking on big flashy things to distract people than to actually furthering the narrative. Don't bring back another Primarch, instead, shift the focus onto something new. Doesn't have to be anything big, just engaging. Think like Badab War or Siege of Rax, with the goal of writing detailed, engaging lore. Cheers. I agree with that too. There's a big reason why those things are loved above all else, right? The Badab War, Siege of Rax, is because they weren't these galaxy-defining conflicts, but they were region-defining conflicts. Do you know what I mean? They were, and as such, you gave people carte blanche to basically write as in-depth as they like. And you had these world-building people come in and write 40k lore that was absolutely engaging. And the videos that are made on YouTube of the Siege of Rax and the Badab War are amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. So, more lore like that, I agree. Absolutely. We should have like a Warzone, this or that, right? We still, like, we did with the what was it called? The new one. There's Pariah Nexus and the other one. The Nakmund Rift, right? Or the Nakmund system. Yeah, so we've had little flashes of it, you know? And we've had the Arcs of Omen, where we did the last one with the Coral Engine and Angron and stuff. But it's over in a flash, right? It's basically a top-down, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. The end, right? What we want are whole books dedicated. How do these armies respond? You know, to setbacks and to boons and things that are happening. How does the Imperial Authority, the bureaucracy, respond? How does the Imperium get to the world? How does the Tau Empire or whoever defend the world or get to the world themselves? Why are they there? And you can expand on what factions are by seeing how they go to war. And I think that is a big thing for 40k that it needs to keep doing. It absolutely needs to keep pushing in that direction. Don't just tell us what the Tau do. Show us. Show us the Tau going up against the Imperium. Going in like, hey guys, let's all calm down here. Getting a bolt round to the face and going, okay, it's on, right? And then the Tau start to go to war, right? There was a really random campaign pack back in the day where the Tau actually won. They actually drove off Imperial forces from a world. But it was done in such a way that the Imperium looked inept because of their bureaucracy, but they were still ultimately really powerful. And the Tau were there just going, wow, we got away with that one, sort of thing. Which was great, which I really, really enjoyed. So, yeah, I agree that more writing like the Badab War should be happening. And I really want to see a big campaign pack that is a full book. Yeah, with new art. That'd be cool. Next one is from Rob. He says, hey North, hope you're well. My ideas for 11th edition would be as follows. Indexes for all armies. Any erratas can be purchased as and when the rules changed. Nah, not for me. You lost me on that one. First one, you've lost me. I'm not paying for you to fix the rules. Sorry. No. I'm not paying for you to fix the game that you broke in the first place. If you sold me a faulty product, I shouldn't have to pay you to fix the product. There is a very good reason why. Do you remember back in the day when Mass Effect 3 came out and the ending was not well received and kind of broken and ruined the entire trilogy, right? There's a very good reason why BioWare didn't charge you for the extended cut. There's a very good reason why that is. Because they broke the ending of that game. It would be abominable of them to charge you money to fix the thing that they broke in the first place. Right? Even they couldn't get away with that. But then, again, we're going a bit further into that. They did charge you for the Leviathan DLC, which really fixed the ending. Which is, you know, I keep pointing that out, and people keep being surprised. Like, oh yeah, right? But don't let Games Workshop break the game and then charge you to fix it. No, Rob, no. I disagree. And indexes for all armies, no. No, give us all of the rules in PDF format, actual codexes, right? And update the codexes as and when. Do you know what I would do? And this is a preview of North's video, right? What I would do, and I was in the car the other day, just driving along, and I was thinking about this. I was trying not to get into any accidents. And I was thinking to myself, use Warhammer Plus as a subscription service, right? Okay, so up the price of Warhammer Plus. I know. Bear with me, right? Up the price to like $9.99 a month, right? $10 a month, 10 quid a month, right? But for that price, you get every codex electronically on any device you want on the app, right? Every codex, artwork, everything, right? It's all there for you to peruse and use at your leisure, right? And those rules automatically update with a little note saying, yeah, this has been updated, so that this point, this unit here has gone up in points or gone down in points, right? So you can stay on top of the meta straight away. It literally pings your phone, ding. The Necrons have been updated. Their new Canoptech Wraiths have gone up 2 points per model, whatever, right? That's what you get, right? Not only that, but you get all of the things that they're going to be producing at Warhammer Plus, like all of the animations, all of those cool things, all the battle reports that are live will be behind a paywall, but if you're a Warhammer Plus subscription user, you get those for free. Not for free, but you get to, you know, you've paid for them, so you get them straight away, right? You get loads of content, but the main thing is, you get that. You get your big thing. You get all of your rules for free. I would also, right, have White Dwarf. If you pay your £10 a month, you get White Dwarf sent to your house. How cool would that be? White Dwarf every month sent to your house. Wouldn't cost them very much. They'd be earning so much money on that £10 a month that it wouldn't matter, right? That's what I would do, okay? And bespoke codexes that you buy in the shop are still a thing. And they are much more extensive in terms of lore than the ones that you get in the app, because you know you got to save space and things. You don't want people flicking through an iPad constantly trying to get to the rules. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the actual bespoke book you get is full of lore, full of background. The rules are still in there at the back, but 80 to 90% of the book is what your faction has been up to in 40k. Between sessions, like between editions. So if you're going from 10th to 11th, when you buy your codex for, say, Grey Knights, you will find new lore about the Grey Knights. What have they been up to? What war zones have they been in? What characters have emerged? What storylines have emerged? Right? And from then, you can look at the codexes and kind of figure out where Black Library will jump off and start writing books, right? Because it's been set up in the codex. Of course, you'll have your foundational lore in there as well for people who are new to the hobby or getting into it at the front. But it will have loads of new lore, loads of new artwork, and it's a bespoke product. And with every single codex you buy, you get a free code. And what does that do? If you go into the app and you enter in that code, you get that codex for free on the app. It's there, ready to use. That's what I would do. That's how you solve this problem, Rob. What you don't do is give Games Workshop the keys to the bloody castle. You don't give them carte blanche to say, we'll just do really low effort indexes for every army and then charge people for the rules when we actually change them. No, don't charge for erratas. That's ridiculous. That's the first one I've really disagreed with in this one here. But we'll get into it a little bit later on anyway. But that's what I would do with codexes. Do you agree with what I would do with codexes for 11th edition? Let me know in the comment section down below. Core rules as a free PDF or for a decent price. Order a hard copy in store. They're already free, man. I think they're already free. Have core rules that are simpler for casual players. I agree. Have a second rulebook purely for tournament play. I agree. That is also something that I would do. I would have two. Don't put them in the same rulebook, right? I would have two rulebooks, right? It's completely separate. They're both free, but they're completely different games of completely different people, right? So you have the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook, which is for normies like me, and you have the Warhammer 40,000 tournament, grand tournament rulebook for tournament play, right? Separate the two, and that's it. Codexes are for fluff, yeah, I've covered that, but maybe have some painting guides in there, battle reports and character building guide and tools for your own characters. I agree. Expand. Let people have more modularity in what they want to produce themselves. Yes, I agree. For any Legends units, make them relevant by making printable rules for them for regular play and have the models on a permanent made-to-order basis. I agree. Slow the narrative down for a couple of years or so, but have a yearly worldwide tournament akin to the Eye of Terror and Armageddon. I agree. Yeah, thanks for all you do, North, and thanks for reading it, Rob. Okay, I agree. Everything else, apart from the paying for erratas, I absolutely agree. I think you're spot on. Brilliant stuff. All right, let's move on to our comment section, shall we? And see what you guys think in the comment section. Some of these are pretty low effort, so I'll just skip them. Because they're like, you know, there's one that just says, there's a few that just say, use 3.5, and that's it. Right, that's, okay, cool, thanks. Positive Geekery says, I like the idea of having 3 play modes. Ooh. Combat Patrol, friendly and competitive. Balance each mode accordingly. I agree, man. I'm with you on that one. Yeah, that first one. Let's expand it further. Yeah, I wouldn't use friendly as the term. So let's do Combat Patrol, which is the standard smaller game size for beginners, right? We have Warhammer 40,000, which is the full game of beer and pretzels, blowing stuff up and charging into the enemy with your chainswords and having fun, right? It is for the normies, right? And then we have Warhammer 40,000 Grand Tournament. That is the rules that are used for official tournaments at official events, right? Like the Grand Tournaments and things like that, right? Those are the 3 types of game I would have Games Workshop produce. And when you go into a Warhammer store, they can very clearly say to you, yeah, this one here, you know, this is for beginners. This one here is the full game. It's basically the same game, but with a few more rules attached to it, because you know what you're doing by now. And this one over here is for people who want to go to tournaments and play professionally, right? So there's three different sets. What I would always say to Games Workshop staffers is never, ever, ever say that one of the games you're producing is weaker than the others. I once saw a Games Workshop manager essentially saying, you remember when Dark Imperium came in 3 sizes? He was saying that the 2 smaller sizes were inferior to the bigger one. Now, I don't care how much that might be technically true. Don't say that to your customers. Just don't say that, right? Because in reality, it's not true. If I've got 2 young lads, right, and I want to get them into the hobby, I don't buy them Dark Imperium. It's a huge box set with lots of models. No. I buy them the smaller set or the middle ground set that I know they're going to complete and get a lot of use out of. With less rules. They can get into the game. They're not bombarded with rules. That has value. Even if it's got less stuff in it, you're charging less for it, it has more value to that person, right? So what you do is, Combat Patrol, it has amazing value for its target audience, which is kids, right? It's kids, it's newbies getting into the hobby who've never done wargaming before. It's people who are coming into the store to do introduction games. That's Combat Patrol. It's fun, it's quick, it's 40k, it's grimdark, it's awesome, right? Warhammer 40,000, the core game, Warhammer 40,000, is beer and pretzels fun. It is absolutely. You can make it. You can make some complex army choices in there, sure. But the way that the game plays out is akin to 3rd edition, 4th edition, right? It is very easy to pick up, very easy to master. But it's really hard to get really good at it. Do you know what I mean? Like you know, to really take out the dice and say no. I'm just really good at this game, right? But it is, by and large, a beer and pretzels game, so I would OPR it a little bit. I would make things streamlined quite a lot. Like, the core rules would be streamlined. The abilities would be streamlined. Stratagems would almost be entirely gutted from that version of the game. I would say every faction has, like, 5 stratagems. That's it. That's it. There's no more than that, right? I would have every faction have, like, 4 to 5 special rules that you can attach to different units in your army that you wish, right? But no more than that. That would be the core Warhammer 40,000. I would bring back armor facing in that version of the game. Because every single other part of the game is really streamlined, you can have armor facing now. You can have things like that. That'd be pretty cool, right? And I would even make it modular, just like OPR. So, if you want to use blast templates which are a grand tournament thing, you can slot them straight into the normal Warhammer 40,000 play, right? Like seamlessly. Just slot it straight in. If you really like blast templates, they're only in the grand tournament rulebook, but you can slot them straight in to the core Warhammer 40,000 rules if you wish, right? I'll do it like that. And of course, the grand tournament rules would have armor facing, it would have loads of stratagems, it would have loads of gotchas, it would have loads of, like, you really need to know almost every codex to be really good at the game in a grand tournament. Make tournaments for good players, right? Make grand tournaments for good players. You can still have tournaments of games of the Warhammer 40,000 core rules. Yeah, no problem, right? But the grand tournaments, like the ultra sweaty nerds, have their game too. You have the grand tournament game, where you have, 20 plus stratagems per faction. You can really go all out, right? Make loads of gotchas. You need to know every rule all the time, be sweating through your eyeballs to be good at that game. That's fine. Have that over there. Have that esport kind of thing over there. So people can applaud these guys for being as skillful as they are, writing rules and doing things properly and actually playing a game. Make 40k an actual bloody skill to do, right? That's what I would do with the grand tournament side of things. I would probably play in the middle game, right? That's where I live, the beer and pretzels, 40k, let's blow stuff up and have some fun. The narrative game. But I like your suggestions, Positive Geekery. I think that's one of the reasons why you've got so many likes. So, well done to you, sir. Rick Bardock says, every single ability has a keyword, so that it's easier for players to know what a unit ability does. Even keywords that are faction specific will also have a keyword. Remove phases as we know them. Command phase, movement phase, psychic phase, and fight phase. The game rules will be very similar to 9th edition. The one major difference will be, the first player takes the first turn but gets to choose his first unit to move during the movement phase, and then players alternate until all the units have moved. Alternating activations. Right. Same with the shooting phase and the rest of the phases. Once all players have activated, the final unit objectives are scored. Alternating activations, basically, is what you're saying. So streamline the abilities to have keywords so they can all fit under. So what you're saying, I think, is there are, I think, and please comment if this isn't true, but I think what you're saying is, in 40k, right now, there are, every single faction has a different ability that basically does the same thing, right? Deep striking, for instance, it's called something different in every codex, right? And it shouldn't. But, so you can have an ability there, but in brackets, deep striking, right? I think that's what you're saying. I think that would be a really good change. A very, very, very good change. And alternating activations, yeah, I don't know why you couldn't do, I've just said alternating activations, but I agree. Alternating activations are awesome. They're a really good way to play the game. They keep the game flowing. I have lots of fun playing OPR with alternating activations. Zach agrees with me. Thank you very much, Zach. The Green Alternative says, personally, I like the direction that Games Workshop are going for the game, the play side of Warhammer 40k. For the most part, it is simplified, not simple like they intended. However, I agree with your views on some armies not being very lore accurate, or how you would expect them to be played. Grey Knights equals speedy, Death Guard equals a swarm army, etc. Yeah, okay, right. So you're far more forgiving of them than I am. I absolutely think that they've screwed up 10th and 9th edition royally. But on this part, we agree. Yeah, Grey Knights are basically Eldar. Grey Knights play like Eldar, right? They're very psychic, they're very quick, they have a lot of shenanigans going on, they teleport around the board at nobody's business. Those are Eldar, dude. That's what they are, right? Death Guard are basically Skaven. Death Guard play like Skaven. The mind boggles. Some armies just need some major tweaks in their playable playstyle and datasheets, like Death Guard being more tanky. Ideally, every unit should be usable for some purpose, and no unit should be mandatory for a chance to win a game. I agree. Alright, Latros Sacrum says, 8th edition with alternating activations, armor values for vehicles. Yes! Alright, we've hit the nail on the head, we can stop the video. See how See how much longer these are compared to this. Latras just wins the video. 8th edition, with alternating activations, armor values for vehicles. I would introduce templates there too, right? Give me 8th edition, this is North talking, give me 8th edition with alternating activations, armor values for vehicles, and my blast templates back. That's the perfect edition for me. That's scale it all back and reintroduce the fun. That's, yeah, thank you very much. James says, have all the codexes available digitally via a subscription? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I will still get physical books for my own armies for ease, but I do like to look at other armies. Look at the other models, points, and the app does make it easier. Considering I can do it via Battlescribe or other sites for free, it would make sense. Make the secondaries and mission packs available as part of this subscription as well. Basically, for a few quid a month, I get the digital info in a nicer format than the other ones out there. Yep. Edward Clay says, realistically, I'd open up characters' role as leaders again. Allow them to attach to any squad. They can. Can't they? I swear they can. Can they not attach to squads anymore? I swear they can. Anyway. Raygun 9000 says, an iteration on 10th. All codexes still work, with vital updates released. Mini rulebook, free with 2 different combat patrols, universal special rules. Close combat needs to be range equal to the base size. This will prevent hiding and inch behind walls to prevent immersive movement. This will give monsters a brutal reach. So be it. Immersive terrain should be encouraged. Terrain should be more impactful and dangerous. 6x4 boards, 1500 points for normal sized games, granular points, tournament only stratagems. Example, command point rerolls. Okay, some of this I disagree with. You know, an iteration on 10th? No. 10th is an abomination and needs to go away. I've given you carte blanche, so, you know, if you think 10th is good, all power to you. You must be a tournament player. I think, Raygun, a lot of your takes here are very tournament-based. They're very in-depth. You know, close combat needs to be equal to base size. I mean, what kind of casual player talks like that? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, you know, this is not taught like casual player speak. Casual player doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. But you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. Like, I agree, but I think you're enjoying the fact that 10th edition is more geared towards competitive play, and so you want to keep it like that. I disagree, but I respect your opinion. Peter Turbo the 4th, based on 10th, have all infantry 10C. I don't know what that means. Again, we're getting into, you know, I'm not going to read all of this for the video because it's a big list, but have Space Marine non-Codex compliant not have access to main Codex Space Marines and use their own only and vice versa. Yeah, I agree with that. Have Crusade a better place in playing. What? It can be playing the normal mission deck, but have the Crusade XP, etc., but also at events. Okay. This is really in-depth. Have characters' abilities not locked to when leading. Okay, these are really granular, really tiny changes to the rules, right? I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I'm not going to go into every single thing, because again, we'd be here all day if I. But I agree with most of these. These are really what you've done here, Turbo. Is you've gone into 10th and picked out this doesn't work, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? Rather than saying, here's the broad strokes of the game that I would change to make it more fun. You've gone, this rule literally doesn't work, change it to this. That's fine. That's fine, but like, I'm not going to get that much into the weeds. Andrew says, get rid of the woke nonsense and let me just enjoy the lore of my tiny painted little models without them being used as some type of vehicle for activists' a mental wet dream. Because fans will put up with crap rules, overpowered armies, and inflated prices, but they won't put up with people messing with the lore. At the end of the day, Warhammer is still a niche game, and more popular IPs with more rabid fan bases have fallen into obscurity because of this ideology. Now that, I agree with that bit there, right? You don't realise how not massive Warhammer is. Like, every single person out there likes to say Warhammer is the biggest thing in the world. It isn't, man. It's not even in terms of franchises, I wouldn't even put it in the top 10. I honestly wouldn't, right? Is it as big as Star Wars? Is it as big as... Nah, come on. Come on. Even Star Wars now, that it's fallen so far, it's still 10 times bigger than 40k. Let's be honest. We all love 40k here, right? Games Workshop is chasing the mainstream for a reason. It's not mainstream at the moment, right? So, much bigger franchises than 40k have been decimated by far-left woke nonsense. Hello, Star Wars, right? And their interest has fallen off a cliff. Their money has fallen off of a cliff. They're not... it is a loss-making franchise right now. From where it was. Right? From where it was in like 2014, 2015 to now. Insane, right? It took them 5-6 years. No, I'm going to say 10 years. Yeah, because we're in 2025 now. So, yeah, 10 years. It took them 10 years to take Star Wars from the most profitable thing on planet Earth, in terms of entertainment, to a black hole financially. And that's Disney saying that, by the way. That's not me. That's Disney have said that. It's making a loss. Things like The Acolyte, they're making a loss. They're not making money. The toys aren't selling. The games aren't selling. Right? The movies aren't being bought. And hardly anybody went to watch Rogue, not things like Rogue One, but like, if you brought out, there's a reason why they're sticking to the small screen. If you brought out a Star Wars movie right now, I don't think people would go and see it. You'd still get some people go and see it, but you'd get like half the revenue that you'd normally get for a Star Wars movie. It's making a loss. Now, if that can happen to Star Wars, just think about what this ideology would do to 40k. A much smaller property. It'd decimate it. People would leave in droves. It would absolutely decimate it. Which is why we've got to be very, very, very careful. Look at Star Wars and Star Trek. Both dead IPs because activists caring more about pushing their agenda than respecting the law. If the law can just be changed at the drop of a hat to suit, then why should fans get invested in it? Answer is, they won't. And it's the law that got 99% of fans to fall in love with this hobby in the first place. Take that love away and fans will simply walk away. I agree. Very prescient, very based. Well done, Andrew Ryan. The CAD guy. I would go back to 6th edition. Actual simplification and the introduction of universal rules while allowing players the freedom of custom character creation that everybody used to enjoy. I agree. Robbo, a Dragon Knight says, I would bring back points for war gear. I think these are all kind of the same. You want characters back. You want to create your own characters, right? Points for war gear, stuff like that. Originally, I liked the idea the sergeant of a squad could take free war gear, allowing a player model to model them however they wanted, and not needing to worry if they can fit them in their army. Now, however, with everything being free, it's a nightmare to balance. I mean, why wouldn't every Imperial Guard tank not take a hunter-killer missile? I'd also get rid of the whole idea that every unit in the game needs to have some kind of special rule attached to it. For instance, a player should want a Hellblaster squad because they have cool plasma guns, not because they have a shoot on death ability. That's a good point. In my opinion, the true value and worth and, shall we say, elegance of a wargaming system is when it's bog standard troops on must-takes. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you got an Imperial Guard regiment, if your bog standard Imperial Guardsman is cool enough and good enough in the game that he's an auto-include in your army, not because of any special rule he gets, but because his baseline stats are just good enough that he's just like, yeah, he's cheap enough, he's good enough, he's going to capture my objectives, and I don't mind if he dies. He is the bread and butter of my army. That's a good game. That is an elegant game, right? Absolutely. Brilliant stuff. And like old school Warhammer Old World, like 8th edition used to do this. So with Empire armies, like you'd have your regiments, like your normal regiments of men, your normal men's, your normal dudes with the halberds, right? Like they were the backbone of your army because they were good enough. They were really cheap, they would hold the line, and they were an auto-include in your army. Because when you got those guys, you made sure that you could afford other things, right? Bigger things, like your artillery pieces and your characters and your knights, right? That's a balanced war game. You know, there were certain parts of 8 that weren't, obviously, but like that part was, right? One other thing I changed is how common rerolls and invulnerable saves actually are. It feels like everything can reroll dice, and invulnerable saves are handed out like candy. My brother and I have recently played Age of Sigmar, and one of the best things is that rerolls are basically non-existent, and there are no invulnerable saves. Other than that, there are rare cases like Nighthorns, which make those instances kinda special. I agree. I remember back in 5th edition and 6th edition, if a character had an invulnerable save, dude, that guy was special. I remember Drago in 6th. Oh my god, Kaldor Drago in 6th edition. Oh dear. If he cast Sanctuary on himself, he would have a 2+ invulnerable save. That guy just never dying. You know, he's awesome, right? I love that. I love that. Ultramarines versus Craft Worlds. Girly boys stepped over a craft. Okay. I really want Eldar in a starter box, please. We want Eldar in a starter box. Okay. Thank you. They should write solo rules into it like they did with Kill Team. It would be nice for campaign mode. Just make Kill Team. Just carry on with Kill Team. Do you know what I mean? Like solo rules. Yeah. I mean, maybe, but that, like, official random guide, that defeats the object of a war game, in my opinion. You know, like, it's back and forth with an opponent, not back and forth with you and yourself. You know, make friends. That's my response. Frog Wizard says, I'm genuinely not sure. Good, okay. The current bloat and competitive-centric 9th and 10th would require such a big overhaul to make fun, it'd be a completely different game. Well, that's true. That's what we're doing, though. That's what I would do. I would make it a completely different game. I would. Awkward Shrimp says, focus on the narrative. Have a series of unlocking story beats over the life of the edition that players can be a part of. Why are we fighting? What changes over the campaign? And how buffs might be applied. Make any tournament/competitive elements a DLC into the main game. No, now you've lost me again. No, don't let Games Workshop do things like DLC. Don't let them do that. They're not a video game company. If you let them do video game company things, they will start doing scummy video game company things. Don't let them do that. No. They should do what I did before, right? It's a subscription model. You get all your rules there. All of your rules are updated all the time, no problem. And your codexes are a bespoke thing that you can get as a one-off purchase with a code to update your rules as you go along. Dude, that's what we do, right? We don't get into any more of this DLC stuff. Nah, man. Don't let them nickel and dime you. A lot of you are opening the door slightly to Games Workshop, and they're going to walk straight through it and ask for all of your money to play the game that you already bought. Alternating activations, I agree. Increase the points costs so you can play big, epic battles with fewer models. That's a big start. Yep, I agree with that too. 11th edition should be a reprint of 4th, okay. Bring back the Psychic Phase and War Gear points. Change Battle Shock to what? To what? Damned Legion, you can't just do that. Change it to what? Havron says, I don't know, I don't play. Brilliant. Just buy a lot of paint and a little, but if I did play, I'd probably start with making custom loadout rules. You know, like, these are the point prices of guns. If you change standard loadout of bolter pistols to plasma pistols, you subtract the points for bolters and add the points for plasma. Something like a bolter is 10 points, but plasma is 15. So for 5 Marines with 200 points, they now cost 225 points. And you can add weapons to vehicles if you want to, like giving 2 anti-air guns to a Dreadnought's back. Count them in 45 points each. Alright, so you want more modularity. You want to be able to have a larger diversity of units in your army with more different things going on. I agree. Yeah, that's a good thing to want. I agree, Havran, yeah. More control over what you have on the tabletop. Yeah. Muzian says, no command points, no tactical cards, just bake special rules into units and adjust their points accordingly. Worked extremely well in 4th and 5th. This DLC/constant updating of everything is just so annoying, and it's why I haven't played but maybe 2 games since 9th. Don't bring back formations, but bring back, take this named character and make X unit choices. This unit can take weapons they normally wouldn't. X unit gets X, Y, and a special rules, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. I see what you're going. That's an old school format. Yeah. I used to really like that, that would kind of make characters special too, remember? Back in the day when, you know, if you took a certain character, all of your Terminators would count as troops, or if you took, you know what I mean, that kind of a thing. That made characters really special, and I agree that should be a thing that's in the rules. Yeah, definitely. Souls, he says, 3rd edition copy and paste. Okay. Blurg, remove all of the got you surprised nonsense from the game and bring back more of the fun, unbalanced elements that allowed outrageous things to happen that actually made the game more fun. I remember one Gretchen running down a unit of 8 Eldar. It made no sense, but it made me and my friend laugh so much. We never get moments like that anymore. That is true. That is so true. That is absolutely so true, man. Like, I'm with you completely 100%. 100%. Like that to me is 40k. That's 40k, right? Little moments like that. And he's right. With the new game right now, with 10th, you don't get moments like that anymore. Because it's entirely based on tournaments. And if that kind of a thing, right? If that happened in a narrative game, you'd all laugh and it'd be a memory you hold in your mind forever. If that Gretchen caught those 8 Eldar at a tournament, the Eldar player would be bitching, moaning, crying, going to the tournament organizer, stomping his feet, right? That's the kind of thing we're getting. And that's why the game's changed to cut out all of the magic. All of the magic is gone. All we have now is maths. It's maths. It is competitive play. Play for blood. That's all we have. We've lost the magic of 40k. Right? I remember a few weeks ago, I brought up an example of one Apocalypse game that I played once at university, where one of my jump pack marines, my assault marines, held up a Titan in close combat for an entire turn, right? And everybody was cheering him on. It was an amazing memory, one of my favourite memories in the hobby, right? We called him Lord Flashheart from then on in, and I made him a bespoke model using the bits from that model. It was amazing, and I love that guy. He ended up leading my forces, right? So, you know, in competitive play, I never would have had that memory. And there were people, I shit you not, in the comments saying, I'm not going to lie, but if I was that Titan player, I'd be really pissed off. Why? Why? The Marine still died, and the Titan still got to do some stuff, and still got to do loads of cool things. Why? It was a cool moment. Not everything in this game has to be about you, or has to be absolutely unfun and unmagical. We've lost the magic of 40k. It's gone. Now, because of guys like you, now all we've got is it's a minus X1 to hit, and it's a 20-degree turn around there, so I'm going to get my calculator out. That's, dude, that's fucking lame. It's lame. Let the game be unbalanced. Fuck you if you don't like it. Ken Upton says, 3.5 edition revamp. All rules that add flavour and theme are completely removed from matched play. The fun stuff is for fun games. Haha! Now that's kind of passive-aggressive, but I agree, right? I don't mean all... he's gone way above board here. This guy clearly doesn't like tournament players. But I get what you're saying, right? Make tournament play very black and white, you know. Yeah, take away the magic from tournament play. No problem. They don't want it anyway. They don't want it anyway. So, yeah, cool. Right? The fun stuff is for fun games. In matched play, the armies should match. Like a chess game or checkers. The game should be won or lost by the player using ability to use the same tools as their opponent. No. No. No, I don't agree. I don't agree. Alright. Tournament 40k needs to be tournament 40k. The minute you make it like every army needs to be almost exactly the same in terms of power level is when we're starting to lose what 40k is completely, right? You may as well just play chess at that point. You know, what you're saying is here, And what you're saying is, it's quite flippant, but what you're saying is, if tournament players want a completely balanced game, constantly, that's going to ruin the game for everybody else, have them play 40k chess and fuck them off, is what you're saying, right? I don't agree. I think tournament play has its place in 40k, right? I think games, it's not the tournament players' fault that the Games Workshop caters to them when they're about, what, 20-30% of the actual fan base, right? It's not their fault. They deserve to be here, they deserve to have their own thing, and their thing should also be fun, because they like playing that way, right? But it should still resemble 40k. What I'm saying is let them do that. Give them all the stratagems, give them all the templates, give them all the gotchas, give them all of the... Make 40k competitive play a skill. So it's an actual esport. It's hard to do, right? But make core 40k beer and pretzels and fun. Like our Gretchen friend there chasing down 8 Eldar, right? That's core 40k. That's what I would do. I think what you're doing here, Ken, is you don't seem to like... it's reading like you don't like tournament players. I understand why. That the whole game's based around them, and it's really annoying, but there we go. If you want super hard to kill zombie marines, or lame vampire marines, or Eldar that really like spiders, or whatever, you should play the goofy, imbalanced thematic rules. Characters should require your opponent's permission and be limited to certain points limits, like they used to be. These days, people don't play armies, they play a centerpiece character models with a bodyguard. It's Hero Hammer all over again. Magnus the Red and Angron shouldn't be involved in every minor skirmish that ever happens. Completely drop detachments, stratagems, enhancements cards, and all that garbage. Bring back FOC and blast templates. Okay. Guess ranges and scatter dice. Have armies look like armies again, and not the gimmick of the week. Ken, there are certain points of this that I really do agree with. Like that last point there. Have armies look like armies again, and not the gimmick of the week. I agree. I think there's a lot of bitterness wrapped up in this reply. You're clearly somebody who loves the game and has been like mistreated by, you know, the way the game is now, you know, and is very frustrated. And I agree, but you've gone way too far on the end of the pendulum, right? You know, you're way too far. You know, I think getting your opponent's permission to play models, nah, that's too far. That's too far. Again, the word permission, just don't play with him. Just say, hey man, this is my list. And if he goes, I'm not really comfortable with this, okay, bye, go play someone else. Right? Don't say, hey man, is it okay if I use my Angron? No, fuck you, dude. I paid for Angron, I love Angron, I'm going to use him. You don't want to play him, play someone else. No problem, right? Like, yeah, it's the phrasing of it, right? And the remove all fun from tournament play. You know, they don't. Fun should be for fun games. I mean, okay. I think, right, this is just me, we should give tournament players what they want, right? Give them what they want. Give them their own space, their own thing, where it is tournament and competitive up the wazoo, where you actually have to be a good player to get anywhere in tournament play. You can still do tournaments and events that use the core rules, the more fluffy rules. No problem. That's for me and you. If we want to do competitive, we can still do competitive, right? We can move modular parts over if you want, like blast templates and stuff, right? But the actual tournament rules are for sweaty neckbeards, and you are glorious people, and you deserve to have your thing as well. I just want you to have your thing over there, away from my thing. Do you know what I mean? But you still deserve it as well. But that is what you guys think 11th edition should be going forwards. Let me know in the comment section down below whether you think people hit the nail on the head, whether you think my responses were great, what you think of my suggestions as we go on. In a few weeks, I'll do my own video on where I think 11th edition should go, and that will be a big one. That'll be a huge video, so I'm looking forward to doing that. That's what she said. I love you a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more Hobby Nightmares. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a good one. Bye now.